Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good overnight. I, Yamaneto, welcome you to another episode of Velez's Anecdotal Tales. By the way, what do you think of this temporary scenery? A dear friend of mine has loaned me this cozy looking hideout while my residential location is being under reconstruction by our roof-breaking phantom guest. Anyway, it is fitting that this whole scenery has shown a lot of gamer's choice theme. From the last anecdotal tale, I have told of the first video game, and now I'm going to continue that little theme with a new story. However, unlike my normal stories, I'm not going to be telling this one with this book. No, I'm going to be using something much more appropriate to continue with the gaming saga. This time, instead of a book, we'll let the cards do the storytelling. Up here. And now, let us see what the cards have to say. Ah, a very good story. Let's go. Like video games, card games play a major role in the history of gaming. One that opened the gates of possibilities for many cards to be created. But, unlike video games, card games date back over 1,000 years. There have been many different documentations of when they started, but its first known historical origin was in the Tang Dynasty of ancient China. In that dynasty, there was a game that was the first to use playing cards, and that game was called Yahtzee Game, otherwise translated to the Leaf Game. Reason being for the name is because cards were believed to be nothing more than leaves or a piece of parchment. Whatever the case may be, the magic from these cards was only the beginning. Over time, the magical existence of the cards expanded in the West towards European and Egyptian lands, during which the early stages of poker cards began to bloom. From that moment, many varieties of games were born. For European games, there were trick-taking games such as Knuffel, Pinech, Lou, and so on. For Egyptian games, not only did they also have some trick-taking games like Turnip and Estimation, but there were other games like the matching game called Egyptian Rat Screw, and even Ashok, a deceit game. There was one set of cards that was not always considered a game, but was just as crucial in the history of cards: tarot cards. They were developed in Italy sometime between the late 14th and the early 15th centuries for the intention of telling one's fortune and or their path of destiny, a practice that to this day still exists. True enough, these historical card games were popular in these countries, but as soon as the playing cards made their way to America, even more games were developed. For example, Monopoly was created in the 1930s. Sure, the game is mainly used as a board game. Cards were used as essential instructions for the players in the game. Not to mention, in the 1970s, a fast-paced game was invented. You might know its name, Uno, the game that forces the players to use up all of their cards in order to win. If these card games are not enough to excite, then perhaps these will. In the early 1990s, a new type of card game was born: trading card games. or TCG for short. The first one created was Magic the Gathering. Its birth gave rise to many more trading card games with the thrill of trading, collecting, and engaging in strategic combats. Fun fact, several card games such as Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Cardfight Vanguard, Duel Masters, Digimon, and even Dragon Ball Super have anime adaptations, in which a few of them can teach beginners how to play and to be inspired to join the gaming life. The same gaming life that video games inspired many others to be a part of, one that makes life creatively fascinating. Who would have thought that even Egypt would have a history with card games? Wait, I did. More importantly, it goes without saying, yet again, that everything has a beginning. Card games have proven that they are no exception. However, like every other story I've told, there is a lesson to learn, even from the cards. You never know what your next move will be until you take the initiative to the next draw of your turn. That thunder out there proves just how true it is. In other words, as you press on, there will come a time where you will have to take a leap of faith and hope that your next move will be that trump card to your success. Whether if it's for a goal, an activity, or even a competition. May not make sense right now, but one day it will. Now, that's all I have to say today. So go out there, take a leap of faith, and find your trump card to your success. Until then, I'll see you in the next episode of Velez's Anecdotal Tales. See you then.